Okay, so I hear you. You don't want to go to a meeting. You're definitely not going to a meeting to get sober. You may or may not have tried them, but they're definitely not your jam. So let's just straight talk about how you stop drinking or drugging without going to the program. So now I am a fan of the program as part of a recovery program, and we talk about that in other videos. But today what we're talking about is how you get sober, how you stop drinking or drugging to a dangerous level, how you stop putting your life at risk and the way in which you do that, the surprising way in which you do that. And I'm going to share with you something that's really maybe a little controversial, definitely innovative, but what I call my 6-step strategy. So it's a smart strategy for getting sober, getting long-term results, and we're going to talk you through the clear steps that you need to take to get there. So in a moment, I'm going to talk you through the 6 steps. I'm going to then come back through to discussing those in a little bit more detail so we ensure we get complete clarity, because this is literally all you need. And then if you want to hang on more, then you can hear a little bit more about me, my expertise, but there's plenty of other videos where I bang on about both my personal and professional expertise in sharing the strategies with you. So for now, let's talk about you not going to another dingy basement and stopping the drinking or drugging. So step 1 is acceptance. Okay, so let's be really clear. You can't do anything until you accept fully 100% that you have to stop drinking or drugging. End the video here if there's no acceptance. Acceptance is number 1. Number 2, get support. You need a partner, a friend, a soul sister, a rabbi. I don't care who it is, but you need support on this journey. It's going to be one of the most difficult things that you ever do in your life. 3, see a specialist. I can't, really recommend this more highly. Whether it's an addiction specialist and a clinical psychologist with a specialization in addiction, or a recovery coach. We are talking life or death. Addiction is life or death. And you can go around this roundabout, drinking, not drinking, drinking, not drinking, drinking, not drinking, your whole life, and it could kill you. It could absolutely kill you. So let's not do that. Let's not do that. Let's talk about how we get you sober as fast as possible, the simplest, most effective way to not only get sober, but live a life beyond your wildest dreams. And that is absolutely my reality and my client's reality. Okay, so we're up to number 4. Make a plan on the principles of recovery and the pillars and tenets of mental health. So I'm going to loop back to that. To shorten it, nurturing mind, body, and spirit, you need to make a plan on how to live your life day in, day out, every day, that's going to look at mind, body, and spirit. And number 5, build new habits. So on these all kind of build on top of each other. So build new neurological pathways and new ways of existing in the world that are going to self-soothe in a really healthy way. I'm going to make up for the drink or drug, because if you just try and stop drinking or drugging, it's just going to be a life missing something. You've got to do more than just replace the drink or drug. It's a fundamentally different way of living, in the best way. If you listen to my messages, I keep banging on about that, but in the best way. And then final one, number 6, you need to learn how to get natural dopamine highs. So there's a couple of key things when we talk about fundamental neurological changes and the habits. So we're going to find healthy ways of self-soothing. This is why this process does take about a year. Like I hope you got your pen and paper out, because we're about to run back through it again. And you go over these steps, and there's a plan that sits and detail that sits beneath each of those. I'm going to quote lots of other research. This is all based on the latest neuroscience of research. Look at Dr. Gabor Mate's work, or Dr. Reshi Joseph's work, many others. I'm going to stay in my lane here. Huberman. They're the guys that talk to the neurology of it. I'm just going to talk to you about the practical application of it. And so we're going to go back through these in the moment. And I want to throw out a really honest disclaimer here also. And that is that there is no guarantees in recovery from addiction. You know, it is life-threatening. You know, it is like, it's one of the hardest things that you may ever face in your entire lifetime. It's so difficult, you know, but the rewards of overcoming it are so great, because the way I look at it is that sometimes if I think about my friends who haven't suffered in addiction and their lives never really got that bad, that they've never had to hit rock bottom and bounce back off again. And they've also never had to reassess everything and how they live and what their values are and who they want to be and how they want to show up. You need to do that in recovery. And it means a brighter future. It means that you're going to be looking back on your deathbed at how you lived your life, and it's going to be better because it was intentionally designed. It wasn't just by reaction, you know, or in response to the events that happened to you in your life. You had a really good think about who you are and what matters to you in life, what's important to you in life, and how you want to show up. So this is all aligned, and that's the beauty of the recovery process. So those steps again: acceptance and surrender, number one. So really surrender. And also, it's not just the surrender the first time, like, whoa, I've got a problem with drinking drugs and this is not working and I can't seem to stop and slow down. But also, like, every day, I can't control people, places, and things. I can't, you know? And that's okay. You know, so it's really powerful. The process, I've always likened it to the process for surrendering to addiction is then something that taught me how to live a better life every single day, in terms of understanding I can't control things outside of me and having a sense of serenity around that. Number two, getting support. Meaningful relationships. What is more powerful in life than like deep, heartfelt connections with others? You know, lean into that. And do see a specialist. Don't go round and round in circles. If you look at the latest science, the latest neuroscience, 12 steps is wonderful. It's an amazing part of a recovery. It's not all of it, because we're talking about resolving complex childhood trauma. So you do need to have a look at the deeper healing. So see a specialist, an addiction specialist, a clinical psychologist with an expertise in addiction, or a recovery coach. Then make a plan. I'm not talking a few loose leaf pieces of paper about a few new hobbies and ideas and things. I'm talking about mind, body, and spirit. How are you going to nurture those? What is your morning practice going to look like? What is your evening practice going to look like? Like really making a plan about your life based on the pillars of mental health. So that is sleeping well, eating well. So yeah, 8 hours sleep, lots of water, exercising, time in nature, learning something new, you know, ideally having a relationship to a higher power. These are all really, really powerful things. Understanding your triggers and your relationship to alcohol, because your relationship to alcohol is a tricky thing, especially with men. I work with a lot of men, and society's relationship to alcohol and how we've abused this dangerous toxin. Whoa. You know, so understanding your triggers and your relationship to alcohol. 5, building those new neural pathways, the and the natural dopamine highs. And I'll give you a couple of tips here. So in terms of meditation, you're not going to be surprised. It's really powerful. You can also do that through sport. You can do it in fun ways through surfing. Like, there's lots of cool ways to build new ways to like feel good and to self-soothe and to release stress and pressure and anxiety, and getting in those natural dopamine highs. That's the last one. So this is the thing when I work with people intensively one-on-one, is we look at really not just how do you now self-soothe, but how do you get those natural dopamine highs. And I'll give you one hot tip, and that is that hot and cold. Going through the hot and cold sauna, hot and cold, can, increase your dopamine for up to 4 hours. On the opposite of that, doom scrolling is going to lower your dopamine set point. So lots of things to learn. This is why I say see an expert, get it right, do it once, lock it in, live a better life. As I've mentioned to you before, there are so many reasons that this is just such a beautiful journey, and this is the beginning. And there's lots of other content here that I'd love you to have a look at. Why should you listen to me? Have a look at that separately. Look at understanding the neurology of addiction and as a symptom of complex trauma. Very, very powerful, because I also want you to be applying compassion and self-love to this journey. And that helps when we have a real understanding of addiction and what it's all about. So check out some of this other content, subscribe, share it with your friends, join in the comment section. I respond personally to every comment here. So please do join in. I'd love to hear from you and appreciate you being here.